Hello everyone, my name is Riley, and today we're going to be talking about simulating film characteristics like grain, halation, as well as color within DaVinci Resolve. I'll show you two ways to get similar results. One way with the GH-Alex LUTs, and then another way with the built-in color space transform within DaVinci Resolve. We're going to start out by using the GH-Alex LUTs. So let's make our node structure. Hit Alt-P after the second node to make some parallel nodes. Then we'll add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hit Alt-L. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 nodes in total. Okay, so after we've made our node structure, let's name them. Okay, so once after we've named everything, we'll go in and start adding the effects that are needed. So I shot this in ProRes, and within the GH-Alex documentation that comes with the LUTs, it says to add this pre-LUT. So that's what we'll do. And now here is the grain, the highs, which are the super brights, the middle, the mids, which will be around here, and the lows, which will be the really dark, shadowy spots. But first, we'll add the actual GH-Alex LUT. So after we've added the LUT, we'll go into our qualifier tab, go into the Luma part, and then select the brightest light. And then just sort of mess with the settings. Just so it's a nice solid key. Okay, and then we'll find Film Convert. If you're okay with the way grain looks, how you regularly do it, you don't have to do it this way. I do it this way just to kind of sell the effect more. So I like Super 16 grain. Then we'll lower the film color. I don't like the color of Film Convert. It's just way too contrasty and just not that good looking in general. And what we can do is just copy this, paste there. It will change the name, but we can just go in and change that later. So press Shift H. Now find around the middle part where it would be, the mids. So you have the super brights. Super bright part is the high, and then the mids would probably be around here. Now looks decent. And then we'll just do the same with the lows. Control C, Control V to paste it, Shift H, see where we need to find it, and we'll just add it there. Super dark parts. So now that we've added the grain, we'll add the halation. So go to the RGB qualifier, find the brightest lights, which would be these guys, Shift H, and then again, just sort of mess with the settings. I think it looks good the way it is. So what we'll do is we'll blur it a decent amount, and then we'll add some red in our color wheels. Turn the knob, press Shift H, and there we go. We have the halation. Before, after. Oh, that part doesn't look too good. So what we'll do is we'll just mess with the settings down here some more. Actually, what we'll do is we'll just bring that up a little bit more. Yeah, that got rid of it. So before, after, looks pretty good. If you want it to be bigger, just blur it some more. But I prefer it to be a little bit tighter to the light source. And then this node here, it just lowers the highlights, so you can even raise them or lower them to your liking. Leave it as is. Another way to lower the halation is the key output. So we can lower it even more like that, so it's super subtle and it's not too in your face. But I don't want to do that. I think it looks pretty good that way, and we can see it acts with the grain in an organic, realistic looking way. Okay, so this is the temperature. We'll lower it. And right here is where we'll add a slight contrast curve. Before we add the curve, we'll go into our layer mixer and select hue. Then we can add our curve. All right, and here's the adjustments. We can change it to what we want it to look like. So now we'll move on to the OLPF node. We'll add Gaussian blur, change it to 0.2, change this to 0.8, and set this to replicate. And then the very last node is adding a slight yellow tint to the footage. So we'll set it like this. And then that. And I think that looks pretty good. And here's the before of everything. Basic bland GH5 footage. And then there we go. So since we've done this already, we can save it by right-clicking the screen, or right-clicking the preview, and then hitting grab still. But I've already done that, so I don't need to do that. So we'll move on to the next clip, and since we've already done it here, we can just do it again over here. But that'll take way too long to remake the node structure. So what we'll do is we'll middle click on our mouse, and it's replicated just like that. Before, after. And we can again go in, make some changes to the footage and make it look how we want it to look. We'll check the halation key. Sometimes it will add a little bit more spill depending on the scenario, but it's not too bad, so we'll leave it the way it is. And there it is before the halation, and then after. Okay, so now we'll move on to doing the daylight version. We'll just middle click the previous scene, and that doesn't look too bad, but if we move, we notice some weird banding starting to happen. Not banding, just the key isn't really doing its job. So what I like to do is we'll reset the node grade, go to the Luma qualifier, select the sky, and then we'll add edge detect. Change it to grayscale edges. Turn this red. and then hit edge mask overlay, turn it to sharpen, and then we'll just mess with the brightness, Shift H, and now we have a nice outline of objects and stuff like that on high contrast edges. It doesn't look that good right now, but what we can do is just blend it some more, maybe even blur it, just so it's really subtle. Right now it's kind of in your face, so we can just lower the key, and that's looking decent. We don't have any weird issues going on with this guy at all. It's all constant. And so since we're using the GH Alex LUTs, we'll add the daylight version of the GH Alex LUT. So daylight, soft, and then again we'll just make some adjustments. And then maybe even lower the highlights a little. We notice the slight outline on our hat is still there. If you just play it back, it plays it pretty well. We notice the contrast. Oops, sorry. Contrasty edge before. It's super hard to see, and I'm sure the YouTube compression is just going to kill it some more, but it is there. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you how to do it the free way. Add a node, Alt-P, bring these up. Now this is going to be the grain. It's going to be the exact same way as last time. Add another node, so it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So what we'll do now is after we get the node structure, again, we'll name everything so it's all organized. Now that all the nodes are named, we'll go to Effects, Color Space Transform. And then, so since I shot this using the GH5 in Vlog, my input color space is going to be Panasonic V-Gamut. And then we'll find the output color space and set it to Rec 709. Turn on saturation mapping, and that's good. So let's say you shoot in whatever red log is. You do that for the input color space and do the exact same thing for the Rec 709 output color space. So we'll minimize that. And now this is the halation. So we'll do the exact same thing. RGB. Select that. Nice clean key. Blur it a lot. Add some red. And now that is a little bit too red. So what we'll do is we'll add some lift to it. I added some lift to it in the primary wheels. So now that's looking pretty good. And now what we can do is, since we saved the grain, or since we saved the previous power grade, we can just add it to the other node we have here. Display node graph, highs, mediums or mids, and then lows. We can lower the temperature, change the tint. Now we're sort of getting there. Adjustments, change that. We'll just steal the filter, the OLPF filter, pop it on there. And then we'll also do the same with the yellow tint. And now you have a free way of doing the film emulation. It looks pretty good compared to the other paid way. Okay, so now I'll show you how to do it for the daylight version. So middle click that, and then that really just does not look good. So we'll reset it. Find our Luma qualifier, select the sky, Shift H, edge, detect, grayscale, make that red, edge mask, try to sharpen, lower the brightness, up the denoise strength. So just smooth it out, and we notice the outline is there. It's looking okay, but the colors are just not good. The halation is a little bit too much, so we'll actually do that, but we'll just blend it in a decent amount. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay guys, that should do it. This is my first ever video tutorial, and I hope you guys learned something from it. Let me know down below in the comments if you have any more questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thanks, and see you next time.